the gift that keeps on giving. That is Nurgle's blessing. And on this day, his most devoted of souls march to battle against the Death Korps. Their mission is to sabotage key positions on the map, spreading the plague they carry across the sector. It's coming up next as MGM presents Kill Team.
Alright, welcome back to Miniature Game Montage, and today I've got a very special episode of Kill Team, as I did have someone locally that wanted to meet up and play a game, so we met at our friendly local gaming store, and I was able to record the game. He did bring in the new FLGS terrain, which I'm really excited to play on, and his Kill Team are the Plague Marines, and they will feature a champion, a malignant plague caster, a bombardier, heavy gunner, icon bearer, and warrior. For equipment, they bring blight grenades, playgrounds, poison vents, and plague bells. Over for my Death Korps, I'll flash the operatives up on the screen. They do bring the chronometer, hand axes, light barricades, and ladders. In the scouting step, they do select to bring mines. The Plague Marines elect to reposition, passing the initiative over to the Death Korps. The mission that we're playing today is Sabotage, and there will be 3 locations on the map. Whenever a friendly operative performs the sabotage action, you'll score a victory point. If the active operative controls the objective marker wholly within your opponent's territory, that marker is sabotaged, and at the end of the turn you can score an additional VP. For TAC Ops, the Plague Marines will be after Take Ground, while the Death Korps will be after Contain, trying to keep them off their side of the board. With the initiative being handed over to the Death Korps, we get ready for turn 1. Really hope you enjoy the game, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave us a like if you enjoyed it. Also, a special thank you to my opponent James. Really appreciate you spending the time to play the game with me. And as we gear up for the first turning point, I'm really unsure of what the Death Guard can throw at me. Take Aim is issued for the Guardsman order, which is relayed by the Vox operator, and then Take Cover played along with Lumbering Death from the Plague Marines. The Death Korps do have the initiative, and I am going to activate my sniper. I'm going to elect to send him forward up the ladder, staying concealed. The Plague Marines elect to send their Plague Caster forward, staying in cover and staying concealed. The Death Korps elect to send their gunner with a flamer forward, using a move and a dash, staying in cover. The heavy gunner for the Plague Marines then moves forward as well. The spotter for the Death Korps activates next, and he climbs the ladder, takes a position next to the sniper, staying concealed. The champion then elects to use his actions to move to the doorway on the FLGS terrain. The bruiser then activates, he moves up, staying concealed in light cover. The warrior elects to stay concealed, moving forward down the center of the board. Another gunner activates for the Death Korps, staying concealed, moving forward, using a dash as well, getting into heavy cover. On the other side, the Icon Bearer lumbers forward, using a move and a dash, getting to the doorway. The veteran elects to move up the right flank, staying concealed. The bombardier moves on top of the terrain and then dashes forward. Troopers then begin to activate. They are group activation 2. I do send one of them forward to a doorway. On the other side, I activate another, sending him forward with a move and a dash to heavy cover, staying concealed. With no counteractions taking place, the remaining moves belong to the Death Korps. I do send a grenade launcher up the piece of terrain and shuffle some operatives around in the backfield, staying concealed. The Watchmaster does move forward to the center of the board with his plasma gun, and the first turning point comes to a close. With no viable targets, no shooting happening, just a lot of positioning on the board, we're going to gear up for the second turning point. And my opponent did forget his dice today, so we'll be using a similar color. I'll be sure to walk you through, though. The Death Korps will take the initiative for turn 2. Similar to the first turn, the Death Korps issue the Guardsman order Take Aim, which is relayed by the Vox operator. They then issue Take Cover, while the Plague Marines issue Cloud of Flies. The Death Korps orders one of their troopers forward to secure that center objective. He moves forward, gets within an inch, and sabotages it. The trooper sacrificing his life to secure a victory point. Another operative is activated with Group 2 activation. He moves forward with a conceal. The Plague Marines turn to their Plague Caster, who moves forward. He then uses a dash. The operative then casts a poisonous miasma onto the trooper. As the trooper becomes poisoned, the Death Korps send another trooper up their right flank, staying concealed. Another goes to the doorway of this Vulcus terrain. A Plague Marine warrior then lumbers forward, looking to engage the trooper with his bolt gun, getting +1 damage as the operative is poisoned. He hits twice, looking for 3s. I need 5s to save, and while I do save 1, I end up taking 4 damage. The warrior fires again, however, as he is APL 3. He lands 2 criticals and a normal hit, and my trooper, unable to shrug these off, goes down to the fire. From a vantage point, the sniper elects to fire down, targeting the Plague Caster here, who has an engage order. Cloud of Flies making him obscured, however, so all criticals will become regular and 1 successful will be removed. The reroll for Take Aim does miss, and there's not going to be any damage here as the Plague Caster is going to shrug off all of these wounds. The Bombardier then looks to relocate, dropping it down from his vantage point, covering Objective 2. The spotter calls in a mortar barrage, Fordyce needing 4s. The shot fails to achieve any hits on the primary target. On the Plague Warrior, however, it results in 3 criticals. Cloud of Flies does make the target obscured, and there's no damage. The Plague Marines standing strong, the spotter radios back to the Watchmaster, letting him know that they have a big problem. Up next, we have the gunner with a Plague Spewer, who is going to hop down from his vantage point, use a dash to move forward. The Death Korps sense a potential opportunity here, as they have a gunner with a melt-a-gun that has snuck up close to the line. The gunner flips to an engage order, moves forward, and elects to fire the melt-a-gun into the Plague Marine gunner. He's looking for 4s, does use a command point reroll, as well as the balanced rule from Take Aim. Only 2 hits will convert. And there should be piercing 2 here, so he should just roll 1 defense. Instead, we missed it. My mind went to the old version of Kill Team, where you have to retain criticals in order for piercing to become a thing. So there should have been a heap of damage that went onto this guy. We did miss that. And with the melt-a-gun becoming a bit exposed, the champion is going to use this opportunity to blow through the doorway of the Vulcus terrain, issuing a charge into him. He swings a Plague Sword, hitting on 3s, and it is severe, so he gets to change one of those normal hits to a critical. The gunner attempts to fight back in hand-to-hand combat, but he is simply outmatched by the champion and will be taken down. The champion then turns toward the Flamer and elects to fire his plasma pistol, Fordyce needing 3s. And using a CP reroll, there's going to be 3 total hits, with one of them being critical. The Flamer is unable to shake the damage, becomes exhausted, but does play In-Death Atonement. The Plague Marine champion also suffers some additional damage from the Hot rule, and then the Flamer lets loose, with Fordyce needing 2s. While he does hit with everything, with 2 criticals out there, the criticals are saved. As the operative with a Flamer exhausts, we move over to the Death Korps, where Bruiser is lining up a shot with his last gun, attempting to take this champion out of the game. He fires, Fordyce needing 4s, and only gets 1 hit. While he generates a reroll for Take Aim, the hit will be saved. Up next for the Plague Marines, we have the Icon Bearer moving forward, and he is going to bring a trooper into his line of sight. He fires his bolt pistol 4 times, needing 3s, and connects with 3 of them. The trooper is unable to make any saves and is taken off the board. The Death Korps then activate a gunner with a grenade launcher. As he flips to an engage, he is going to move and attempt to take out the champion. He loads a crack grenade and hits twice. Even with piercing 1, the saves are made. The first counteract takes place with a plasma gun shot going into the Bruiser. He is going to hit on 3s. We'll have 2 successes that go through, using a CP reroll to try to get 1 more. The Bruiser does retain 1 for cover and rolls a 5 to shrug off the hits. The medic then takes a shot at the champion, Fordyce needing force with his last gun, and he's going to land 2 criticals. He does reroll 1 for take aim, and it looks like 1 critical will be saved. The medic moves out of line of sight while the Plague Marines use Sickening Resilience to keep the champion alive on 1 wound. From across the board, shots ring out, another counterattack lands a critical and a normal hit, and while the normal is blocked, there will be some damage that goes through on a trooper. The Death Korps then send their hardened veteran forward with a conceal order. Another counteract sees Plague Wind being cast onto the grenade launcher, 6 dice, hitting on 3s. It is Saturate, so you would not retain cover saves here. It is also severe, and it will be enough damage to remove the operative. With only 1 action point on the Vox operator, he is just going to move, staying concealed. And in another counteraction, the Warrior opens fire with his bolt gun, hitting on 3s, and he is going to land all hits, unable to block them with the Trooper, and he is going to be removed from the game. The Watchmaster then flips up to engage with the last activation for the Death Korps. He's going to fire his plasma gun, hitting twice. At lethal 5 with a supercharge, the champion is finally removed from the board. The second turning point comes to a close, the Death Korps really struggling to get enough firepower onto the Plague Marine units to take them down. We will see the Plague Marines take the initiative for turn 3. The Death Korps select Take Aim for their Guardsman Order and Siege Warfare for their strategic ploy. And for the opening move, we see the Heavy Gunner for the Plague Marines move forward. He's going to open up with his Plague Spewer. He hits on 2s and gets to convert 1 normal to a critical, as it is severe. The Watchmaster isn't going to have a chance to save these, although he does shrug 2 of the wounds. He will play In-Death Atonement and hits twice with his plasma pistol dialed up to the max. 1 critical is blocked, the operative is taken down to 10 wounds, and the Watchmaster is removed. In a bit of frustration, the Bruiser attempts to charge into the Heavy Gunner. His anger allows him to hit 4 times, with 2 of them being criticals. The Bruiser is able to bludgeon his opponent a few times without taking any damage and reducing him to 6 wounds. The Plague Marines then take this opportunity to take their Icon Bearer and charge him into the Bruiser. Another combat ensues with the Icon Bearer hitting 4 times. The Bruiser turns to land some hits of his own. While the Icon Bearer does take some damage, it is the Bruiser that will be eliminated. The operative then uses his remaining APL to sabotage the objective, scoring a victory point. Up next, the Death Korps relocate their sniper, and he is going to fire on the move, targeting the Plague Spewer. And these shots do need 3s. Looks like 3 of them are going to hit with 2 criticals. 1 will be saved, and the Plague Spewer will be taken down. The Plague Marines then activate their Plague Caster. He is going to move forward and attempt to cast some spells. Up first is Entropy, and this spell hits on 3s, and you should not be able to retain cover saves here, as it does have the Saturate ability. Both of those hits were blocked, however. The next spell is Plague Wind, and 6 dice coming out here, needing 3s. And once again, there should be no cover saves here, as it is Saturate, and the operative ticks down to 4 wounds remaining. Meanwhile, the Vox operator is switching up to an engage. He is going to shuffle just slightly to fire at the Icon Bearer. With 4 dice on 4s, getting a reroll for Take Aim. There will be 3 in total, but they will all be blocked. The Warrior then shuffles over with his engage order, elects to fire up top at the Sniper. And while those shots are blocked, he does have the opportunity to fire again, 4 dice needing 3s. He connects 2 more times, but the sniper is unwilling to go down. While this is taking place, the veteran moves up the right flank with an engage order, looking to get an open shot at the icon bearer, attempting to focus fire to bring him down. While he does land 2 hits, both of those hits will be blocked, and the bombardier is lining up a shot with his blight grenade. It's an abysmal roll, however, and misses. On the second attempt, however, he will not be so lucky, and the results are 3 hits. Rolling his defense dice, he is unable to stop the damage and is removed. Sensing victory is at hand for the Plague Marines, the medic is going to go engage, moving forward, and then open up against the icon bearer. His 1 success, however, will be blocked. After an unsuccessful counteract, we have the remaining trooper who goes engage as he goes to contest the objective in the center, firing his last gun at the icon bearer. And while he splashes 3 5s, only 1 of them will go through. The trooper has left himself in an exposed position, and as the counteract takes place, shots come back across with 3 hits. The trooper's not going to roll good enough to make any saves and will be removed. In the last action, the spotter attempts to fire to take down the icon bearer, but is unable to cause any additional damage, and with that, the Death Korps are going to surrender this game. With bayonets fixed, they charge into the enemy and are cut down 1 by 1 until none remain. The Plague Marines proving to be very resilient in this game. They come away with a landslide victory today, running away with the game in the 3rd turning point. And that brings another episode of Kill Team to a close. Really hope you enjoyed watching the game. Certainly thank you to James for coming out to play a game with me. And if you liked it, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. That is by no means necessary. If you watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care.